Good afternoon. Today we are going to have the discussion on strategic organizational downsizing. Organizational downsizing is an essential phenomenon in case of the organization, as the recruitment is a positive process. Similarly, the downsizing is a negative process. Now, often the downsizing is looked at with a negative perspective. It is often thought that downsizing means just retrenching the people away from the organization. But sometimes it may not be, because the downsizing itself is a strategic decision making for the organization, especially which are suffering from the continuous phase of losses. So today we will see that how the downsizings can be strategically aligned to minimize the negative impact in the organization. Here we are with the presentation. First of all, this strategic downsizing can be an effective HRM strategy, because we know that exits, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, it is inevitable. Voluntary exits, we do not have any control on that, but still we should have some strategy to retain the employees. On the other hand, the voluntary involuntary downsizing is basically performed by the organization, but that should also be controlled. But however, this is inevitable. It will happen. This downsizing strategy can be effective in handling the mass layoff and downsizing, because whenever the downsizing is needed, whenever the mass layoff is needed, this particular strategies will definitely help reducing down the impact of that kind of layoffs and downsizing. The exits, which is written as the botched up exit, which means the careless exits, can lead to the legal and reputational problem if the exit is being made carelessly, whether it is voluntary or involuntary. In that case, it will definitely damage the repute of the organization. Now, from the organizational point of view, let me make it clear. From the organizational point of view, the voluntary exit means when we are actually, or the organization is actually retrenching the people away, and involuntary downsizing means when the exit comes from the employee's end, means when they are resigning. So in both the cases, these are inevitable, but there should be a control, and the control can come with the help of the strategic downsizing policies. So we can see the different points that can be referred as the effective HRM strategies. We will see them in detail in the following slides. First of all, exits, whether voluntary or involuntary, are inevitable. So that's just now we have talked about that. Whether it is voluntary means if the organization is asking the employees to leave the organization, that is voluntary. Involuntary means when the employees actually leaving the organization, resigning from the organization. So in both the cases, they are inevitable. Although we should have a control on it, but we cannot have the ability to make it zero. Handling mass layoff and downsizing, we know that what is the technical definition of layoff, especially in case of the shortage of the resources, when we are temporarily asking the employees, as per the factories, as per the Industrial Disputes Act 1947's norms, that in case of the temporary inavailability of the resources, if we are asking the entire manpower to temporarily get away from the work, definitely that is known as a layoff. Now the layoff can be done in a limited scale, or it can be done in a mass scale. So definitely if it's happening in a mass scale, definitely it will have an impact on the organization in the mind of the employees. And finally, the trade union is also there who can also retaliate. So we have to have a proper strategy to avoid that impact. We cannot let that that bad feeling coming in the employees, in the mind of the employees, and we cannot allow the trade unions to have a retaliating role. Now, next one is the botched up exits can lead to legal and reputational problem. We can see over here that the Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Cognizant Technologies, all they are actually following a very structured way of exit. If they are retrenching the employees, if they are laying off the employees, these are being done through the legal procedure. Now, this legal procedure will definitely help them to structure the exit process, the downsizing process. If it's not done through the legal and structured process, definitely it will be a chaotic situation, and there will be a complete uh, problem. There will be a thorough problem for the organization as well. Now, other than that, there can be some other strategies like the golden handshakes. This is one of them. Golden handshakes can be offered to the employees if we are offering them the downsizing proposal. Means if we are asking them to say goodbye to the organization, we can provide some monetary benefits. That is basically known as the golden handshakes, and definitely that should be sufficient in quantum so that the employees who are going away or to whom we are actually bidding goodbye, they can also be satisfied, at least if not happy, at least they will be satisfied. So that kind of strategies like golden handshakes can also be effective in promoting the downsides. Hiring and firing is a part of the game. It happens each and every organization. The people will be hired, and if necessary, sometime the management needs to take the decision to fire someone. So definitely we cannot stop it, we cannot make it zero, but at least we should have a control, and the control will be provided by these strategic HRM policies of downsizing. So these are the different elements that we have seen that through which we can manage the strategic downsizing. We have another one, that there can be some professional firms that can manage the exit process, that can manage the downsizing process. If the organization does not have the enough confidence in conducting the downsizing process, because there are multiple problems associated, maybe the trade unions will play a very significant combating role. So that's why this particular task can be outsourced to the some professional firms, and they can do the downsizing process, including the exit interviews and all, for a particular organization. So these are the different steps. These are the different processes that can be performed in case of the downsizing, and all can be referred as the strategic moves. Definitely, we have to look into in the strategic downsizing process with more detail. That will be present in our following lectures, video lectures. I shall conclude here, and we shall continue with our series of lectures. Till that point of time, thank you very much. Stay indoor and stay safe.